Hello and welcome. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to talk about cryptocurrency news. We're going to look at India's Supreme Court and cryptocurrency. We're going to take a look at Twitter making Bitcoin and really cryptocurrency mainstream. And Latin America, crypto is soaring. So let's get into it. Our cat Blue is looking for the next subscriber. Will you be the next subscriber? Just click the button below right here on the YouTube channel. Or if you're in Facebook, Twitter, or Library, then just click the links to follow us. And of course, like and subscribe. So, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. I'm not smarter than you. You are smarter than you realize. Do not trust what I say. Do your own research. Now, India, their Prime Minister awards crypto app creator as Supreme Court deliberates on the ban. So it's interesting that the Prime Minister of India is giving out an award to some people that created a cryptocurrency application. At the same time, the Supreme Court is making a decision about the future of cryptocurrency within India. India's Prime Minister, and forgive me if I don't pronounce this correctly, Narendra Modi awarded young entrepreneur Harshita Arora, the developer of a cryptocurrency price tracking application, amid an ongoing battle in her home country over the status of cryptocurrency. So, the fact that the Prime Minister issued an official award to a crypto-involved person is particularly interesting given the conditions for the cryptocurrency industry in the country. As Cointelegraph recently reported, the Supreme Court of India this week listened to further hearings in the landmark case against the Reserve Bank of India's ban on banks' dealings with crypto-related businesses. The case was brought to the highest court in the country by the Internet and Mobile Association of India after public and industry-led petitions against RBI's imposition of a blanket ban on bank services to crypto businesses back in April of 2018, which came into effect in July of that year. And so it is quite interesting. And based on some of the preliminary news, some of the reporting that I've read about this whole situation, it sounds like India is going to become a much more crypto-friendly country. But until this court case is decided, it's really hard to say. You know, you can speculate all you want, and sometimes what you hear in the media and elsewhere just doesn't pan out. So time will tell. That'll be the better way to find out what really happens is, will India become a huge cryptocurrency proponent, or will it continue to be unfriendly? And what I mean by unfriendly, even though the Central Reserve banking system says that there is no ban of cryptocurrency, but they do admit that they've prevented banks from servicing cryptocurrency businesses, which in effect is a ban on cryptocurrency because it prevents exchanges and other businesses from offering services like we have in the United States, where you can just connect up your bank account to your cryptocurrency exchange account and transfer funds directly from your bank straight into your cryptocurrency exchange account and then purchase Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency that you have an interest in. So hopefully this goes in the favor of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but time will tell. A potentially massive Ethereum rally hinges on this one key level. The number of Ethereum locked in decentralized finance is up 8.33% over the past 30 days, and that's a lot for such a short period of time. 8.33% in a 30-day stretch is quite significant by any stretch of the imagination. And the price of Ethereum is up 34% during the same period of time. So how many assets do you own that went up 34% in the last 30 days? Man, if I could have all my money invested in something that was going up 34% every 30 days, that would be fabulous. But Unfortunately, I don't know of any way to have a predictable 34% return every 30 days, but it's nice to see that Ethereum has gone up significantly in the last 30 days. Is up over the same period of time. Ethereum is now in a phase where it's outpacing Bitcoin's gains, explained in a recent tweet. So looking at ETH versus the US dollar on a weekly time frame, we can see a breakout of trendline resistance that occurred last week. Although volume hasn't quite shown up yet, I'm particularly interested in $200, above which weekly market structure will turn bullish. So right now, the price of Ethereum is around the $170 range. Today is January 27th, 2020, and it has been approaching that $200 mark. So it would be interesting to see if Ethereum actually breaks out and exceeds that $200 price. And I tend to agree with his analysis that $200 is the place where we would see if Ethereum breaks through into the $200 price range and then holds it, and it becomes a place where it's starting at that, it's not dropping below the $200 price range. I think it has very, very bullish signs. But as always, this is not investment advice. This is only my opinion and some of my observations in the cryptocurrency industry and with some of the different news that we found online. Next, Bitcoin needs more PR people that are like Peter Schiff, said the Binance CEO. So this is kind of funny. Bitcoin skeptic and gold bug Peter Schiff is unwillingly advertising the cryptocurrency's value over other investments, says the CEO of the exchange Binance. So a little bit of backstory. Peter Schiff has been always against crypto and encouraging people to invest in gold. And CZ, or the Binance CEO's comments, are basically pointing out that he's actually helping cryptocurrency because people don't buy his arguments. Bitcoin bugs are saying, I'm not qualified to give advice about Bitcoin because I don't know the difference between a PIN and a password. I know the difference now, and my advice hasn't changed. So his advice has always been, Bitcoin is going to go to $1, put your money in gold. Twitter's Jack Dorsey is making Bitcoin as common as cash. Imagine that, if Bitcoin was as common as cash. So amid regulatory scrutiny triggered by social media giants Facebook's plans to launch its own answer to Bitcoin, Dorsey has vowed to help Bitcoin development through his payment company Square, which said it's only a matter of time until instant, low-fee Bitcoin payments are as common as cash used to be. Square Crypto, which was created last year by Dorsey to spearhead Bitcoin and cryptocurrency development at the company, has said it's building a development kit for Bitcoin's Lightning Network, a way for smaller Bitcoin payments to be sent more quickly and cheaply without clogging up the Bitcoin blockchain. And so most people have heard of Square. If you live in the United States, you've gone places where somebody plugged this little Square device into their cell phone and swiped a credit card right through this. The Square device is probably 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch and maybe 1/4 of an inch thick or 1/8 of an inch thick. It's just a little small gizmo that you plug into your cell phone, and then people are able to accept credit card payments, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, etc. And so that company is the one that Twitter's Jack Dorsey has spearheaded a version of that company called Square Crypto. And so the intent of Square Crypto is they're building applications that make it easy to buy and sell goods with Bitcoin. And once Square Crypto comes out with their applications and their devices, we could see a huge surge in the area of people using cryptocurrency to buy a cup of coffee, to buy a meal, to buy some widget at different fairs. If you go to a fair, or even those like farmers markets where people are selling goods and things that they've created, and they're currently using the Square app, they may be able to take your credit card or take your cryptocurrency. And so it's getting quite interesting in the world of cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin's price indicator Bitcoin's price indicator that called the 2019 bull run flashes green again. I love this image here with the bull on the phone and the green light flooding his office. Leading the positive signs is a useful but somewhat forgotten indicator dubbed the guppy. This is a collection of exponential moving averages which has flashed green on the daily chart for the first time in around 300 days. The interval is significant. The last flip from red to green for guppy was on April 19th, 2019, coinciding with Bitcoin's rapid rise to the highs of 13,800. Before the guppy also turned bullish on January 14, 2018, when Bitcoin briefly rose above 9,000 on the way down the all-time high a month earlier. So let's break this down. This is the chart that shows the guppy indicator, and this is a bigger version of it. You can see how on the rise up to the $20,000 price, it was green all the way until it hit about here, and this is where it turns red. And the difference between green and red is when all of these exponential moving averages are below the current price of Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency that you're applying this guppy indicator on the chart. And then we can see that through 2000, so here's 2018, and in January, mid-January of 2018, all the way until early March, April timeframe of 2019, it was red. And so it stayed red during this long trend downwards where Bitcoin went from a high of $20,000 all the way down to $3,000. And then it started in 2019, in April of 2019, it started a trek up here up to a high of 14,000 and then has dipped down since that high of 14,000 to a low in December of about $6,000, 6,500. And just now you can see this little blip right here. It has turned green again and is on its way back up. And so this is a nice long-term trend because you can see that the majority of the time when it changes the color, it holds that color for a longer period of time. And so now that this is flipped to a green indicator, it is likely based on historical precedents. And as we know with cryptocurrency and any volatile asset similar to it, that the past is no indicator of what may happen in the future. It is just simply something that has a likelihood of happening. So it's kind of like, when the weather forecaster comes out and say, hey, it's going to be cold in the winter. Well, there's a strong likelihood of that being the case. Or they come out and say, hey, it's going to snow today. Well, oftentimes they're going to be right, but sometimes they're going to be wrong. And so this green could be wrong, but we can see historically that it does have a very good pattern of holding true, holding correct. Time will tell, and we'll see if this actually is the beginning of another strong, long-term bullish rally. Finally, in the news is Latin America's cryptocurrency market is soaring. So cryptocurrency and its underlying blockchain technology are on a meteoric rise in Latin America. According to a study published last year by Statista, one of the world's leading statistical portals, the Latin America region holds the largest number of cryptocurrency users in the world. Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, and Chile all fall within the top 10 cryptocurrency countries. Venezuela was not a study participant. Meanwhile, the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and France were closer to the bottom of the list. Much of Latin America has been wrecked by financial chaos in recent years. Amid unemployment and falling reserves, Argentina's inflation rose 53% in 2019. Rising prices also plagued Brazil, where in 2015 inflation increased to the highest rate in the last 13 years. Despite the risk and volatility of cryptocurrency, digital assets have nonetheless become a viable alternative to shaky national currencies. Similarly, cryptocurrency offers a quick and secure method to send remittances. In recent years, migrants from Latin America and the Caribbean have been sending a record amount of money to their home countries. Meanwhile, the barrier to entry for cryptocurrencies in many Latin American countries is often lower than traditional forms of financial management. About half of the Latin America population has no access to banking services. Just 113 million people out of a population of 650 million have credit cards. So when you look at the United States, pretty much everybody has credit cards. And to see that only 1 out of 6 people, or 1 out of 6.5 people, which is silly because you'll never find a half person, but 1 out of 6.5 people, or 10 out of 65, have credit cards is just something that you don't think about in the United States. And yet, when you take a look at Latin America and try and understand why is cryptocurrency adoption happening in Latin America faster than the United States, it's because they don't have. It goes back to what I remember some people talking about when they were talking about, hey, we want to find 1,000x returns. In other words, you put in $1 and you make $1,000. Well, in his analysis of finding 1,000x returns, he says you need to find hair on fire problems. So if you lived in a country where only 50% of the people in the country even have a bank account, and only 1 out of 6 people have credit cards, then your hair on fire problem is banking. And when people have a problem with banking, they're going to look at other solutions that may not be the best way to do things, but they're better than the other choices they have. And so their hair on fire problem is their banking situation. And with cryptocurrency, see, on the other hand, the World Bank reports that 55% of adults in Latin America own a mobile phone and have access to the internet, 15 percentage points more than average in developing nations. A large unbanked population with access to Wi-Fi is diving into cryptocurrency far easier than opening a checking account. So when it's easier to open a cryptocurrency wallet and transfer money into cryptocurrency, if that's easier for you than getting a checking account, then of course people are going to select that as an option for them to store their wages as they earn money and everything else in their life. They'll start using cryptocurrency as a way to do their finances rather than selecting a bank account. And so there's quite a bit more in this article talking about a whole lot of other areas. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the comments on the YouTube channel. And so if you want to read the rest of this, then click the link to go to the YouTube channel and then scroll down into the description. And in the description, you'll find the link to this article. But I think that's quite interesting that Latin America is actually surpassing the United States and other large countries in terms of their cryptocurrency adoption. So that is the news for today. How can I be of service to you? Do you have questions? Have I said anything that was confusing? Or do you disagree with anything I said? Look, you know things I don't know. I know things that you don't know. And when we get together and share our knowledge together, we're both going to grow smarter together. So please include your polite disagreements down below. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and hodl. And I hope that you have a fantastic